There's been 3 speeches. In the first one, he behaved like a thug, many observers said. He basically threatened the people with mowing them down and proceeded to do just that. In the second speech, 6 weeks ago, he didn't actually say anything. He just simply talked in very, very vague terms. Now, in this third speech, 4 months into this uprising, I think he's gone further than he's been before. But there was very little concrete in there. But he said enough to maybe buy himself some time, and I think that's what it was aimed at. But he's gone further because he talked in slightly more concrete terms about, in July we'll have a national dialogue. I will meet with, groups will meet, Parliament will meet, we'll have an election. In September, depending on what happens, we will look at the Constitution. And what he means by that is specifically Article 8 of the Syrian Constitution, which says the Ba'ath Party is the leader of the state and society. In other words, enshrined in the Constitution, only the Ba'ath Party can lead the state, and in fact it leads culture, it leads everything. And this is because in the mid-1960s the Ba'ath Party took over. His father, Hafez, in an internal struggle within the Ba'ath, took over the party and then decided to act like a pharaoh or a king and pass on the ruling of the country to his son. Now, just rewinding a little bit, this is why it's so important. In the 1940s and 50s, as there have been for centuries, the Alawite minority, a Shia offshoot, 14% of the country, were always looked down upon by the majority Sunni Muslims in Syria. They were backward peasants. They had very little opportunities, so they began to join the army in large numbers because the army wasn't really a great institution in Syria. At the same time, they began to join this fledgling Ba'ath Party. They eventually more or less took over the Ba'ath Party. And so when the Ba'ath Party wanted to have a coup, where was the army? Dominated by the Alawites, and it was a perfect coming together. So the Ba'ath, in the shape of the army and the politics, took over the state. Even though they were only 14%, to this day they dominate the army and politics. Now, if you're going to say to the people, and he's just done that, and I'm not talking about just the protesters, the mass of people who are a little bit concerned about what's going on in their country, and they haven't joined in the demonstrations, if you're going to tell them, after all these years, 4 decades, I am willing to start discussing whether Article 8 should be thrown out, what you're saying is, I am willing to open up the political space that there can be parties, including maybe even the Muslim Brotherhood, because that's what they've always said. Well, you know, Article 8 makes sure the Muslim Brotherhood can't take over this country and become an Islamic state. He's actually opened up that space, and I think it's the Article 8 aspect which is the most important thing, as well as all the things you've just mentioned, popular protesting gangs differentiate, passports for more people, an amnesty for some of the people. All that's important, but if you're prepared to open up the Constitution, then that's significant. What he's done, though, he said, and let's look at that in September. The Arab Spring, where he's trying to get through the summer, and then it'll be autumn, maybe it'll fizzle out, in which case, how many reforms will there be?
Okay.
But that's what he's doing, I think.